Hey everybody, welcome to Bearded Baker Banter. And we are, I almost messed up that. Baker. Uh, we're live here on Thursday night. Some of you guys might be listening Friday here. We're going to get into a little bit of Major League Baseball, a little bit about the NHL playoffs, talk about the NBA playoffs a little bit, and then also touch on some NFL free agency and also a little bit of prep stuff for the draft here coming up, which I believe is what, next week, guys?
It is.
Yeah, I believe next Thursday, right?
27th.
There we go.
Yep.
So welcome Trent, welcome Trey. How you doing?
How you doing, guys?
All right. So what we'll do here is we'll lead off with some Major League Baseball stuff. Kind of look at some teams that you guys are liking right now, some teams that are hot, some teams that are not. Gambling wise, how are things going? Looking at some pitching and things like that. What's working for you guys? What's not? So what, Trent? What are you looking at lately? What are you liking?
Well, the team that I'm tailing lately and keeping a close eye on is the Buccos from good old Pittsburgh, PA right now. Don't worry, I didn't leave my Orioles team totals. Still believe that they're hot. A little bit of a pitcher's duel series against the Nationals recently, so that was a little tough spot for those types of picks. But the Pirates right now, and I know it's early, and I know it might not last, but they've been covering the first fives for me. Yeah. Even some overs on team totals, and then even a couple money lines here and there. You can get some pretty good value considering they're kind of just a young team of prospects that will all eventually be traded elsewhere. But I really like the Pirates right now. That's who I'm tailing while they're hot.
So you said you like the first five of them.
Well, I do. Once again, you got some good young starters that I think it's Contreras. He was on the mound tonight. I think he's now got a record of 2-1. He threw about seven shutout innings. Correction there. I think he let up one run right before they pulled him.
Are you talking Ronesy?
Contreras?
Yes, right. His first name's Ronesy.
My boy.
But then
kind of a badass name.
Yeah, Ty, you got also the pitcher you mentioned out there with
Mitch Keller.
So I mean, yeah, I like him. Today I dabbled with the money line, and I'm not usually big on the money lines. Trey, you all right there?
Sorry.
But I just don't trust their bullpen, so I do tend to favor the first fives.
I feel like any time that you take the Pirates in, a bet at all is pretty ballsy. I'm not gonna lie, when you actually made the Pirates money line your pick, and I was kind of number one, I was surprised that they were that heavily favored. I think it was like 160 something odds. I was like, wow, I actually thought that Mitch Keller was pitching at first, but honestly,
well, Contreras has been a guy that I actually went against earlier in the year.
Yeah.
With the Cardinals.
Sure.
And I've seen his ERA is pretty low right now. He's tough.
Yeah. And you look at that game too. I mean, the Pirates got 4 runs in the bottom of the first, and didn't have anything else. I mean, that was enough, And then you look at, like you'd mentioned just now, Pirates bullpen gave up 1 in the 7th. Well, no, I lied. That was Contreras. But they gave up 2 in the 8th. So, I mean, that's pretty consistent there. But they are second right now in the NL Central at 13-7. So that's a very... Can they keep it up? I don't know. I mean, the Pirates, it's kind of one of those teams that you always feel like they're going to let you down at some point.
Well, 162 game season. It's a long time.
Yeah, they
long
are.
Time to go.
They are right now run line wise. I believe they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th right now in covering the run line. They're 12-8 with a 60% covered percentage. So just something to keep an eye on. So that's pretty high in terms of the teams in baseball. So, Terry, what do you like right now in baseball?
Yeah. Well, sorry, Trent, for interrupting. I thought I could get away with pouring some whiskey, but my AirPods caught it. But not to beat a dead horse, but I'm with you guys on the Pirates. like I said, I know you guys already went through everything, so I'm not going to hound too much on it. But yeah, like you guys said, they're a pleasant surprise so far this year. I think, Trent, you're right. Their young farm system is finally coming through, and I don't think they can trade everyone this trade deadline. So hopefully they keep a couple of them and they stay on the up and up. But one guy I think you guys forgot to mention is Johan Oviedo. He's a starting pitcher for them. He's 25 years old from Cuba, and he's a stud. I watched him pitch like 2 games so far this year, and he's pretty good.
So I mean that's 3 starting pitchers then that we're kind of high on.
Right,
the Pirates.
exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
And it's funny because we're all different too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But for me, what I'm tailing, but also kind of, I guess you could maybe call it fading. I don't know. Is the Blue Jays under total runs this year in their games? I think the Blue Jays are known to score a lot of runs. I think they're still being capped that way with the high scoring, like, potent lineup that they have. But they have really, really good pitchers. Alek Manoah, he's been lights out this year, I think, so far. Chris Bassett from the Mets, he's been proving himself to not let up a couple runs. The only pitcher I'm fading that I don't bet the under with the Blue Jays is Jose Barrios.
Ooh. Not even you're even okay with. Hold on the
Kikuchi.
You're okay with Kikuchi.
I think
this
that
year, he's
Trent.
I
I think
4 ERA. So
okay. But I mean,
talking about the Tickle Monster. Coochie.
That's a good one, Ty.
Thanks.
That should be his nickname, is a Tickle Monster. No, I think that the Jays, they do have a potent lineup, and don't get me wrong, right? I mean that trend could change so far, but beginning of the season this year, I think the Blue Jays and the under it's been a good bet for me at least. So
yeah, I mean runs wise, they're right now 13th, about 4.6 a game. A couple weeks ago, they were first in hitting. Right now, they're actually 5th with 9 hits a game. So,
Blue Jays.
Yeah, I don't know. They frustrate me sometimes.
They got a minus 12 run differential.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
which is not like the Blue Jays.
No, I mean, and they're 11-8. Like with all that talent they have in terms of batting and stuff, I feel like they should be much better than 11-8.
Yeah. That's a tough division this year, let's be honest.
Yeah, I know.
The AL East is going to be a battle this year, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're 11-8. The Yankees are 12-7. It's like...
Rays are 16-3.
Yeah. And I feel like those 3 losses were ones that I actually bet on.
Probably, yeah.
Although I'm keeping an eye
on it. Probably all of us.
I got to figure out when Rasmussen's pitching next. That's my dude. Yeah, I don't know. In terms of my betting, in terms of teams and stuff, I'm kind of going back to Old Faithful from about 2 years ago with the White Sox. I don't know. I don't know if it's an attachment that I have to their pitching. I've obviously gotten away from Lance Lynn and started to really kind of fade Lance Lynn a lot. Going with like a first 5 over total runs in a game is usually pretty solid when he's pitching, or even his hits to give up. I mean, the tough thing about him though is, I was watching him pitch the other night, and I mean, I think he gave up like 7 or 8 hits, but he also had like 8 strikeouts in like 4 innings, and I'm like, well, hold on a second. So he's literally either getting crushed and striking you out. Like there's no like putting the ball in play, getting outs and things like that. So I mean, it's tough. I mean, once you get later in the season though too, his strikeouts will go down when teams start to figure him out. But yeah, I don't know. I've been big on the White Sox. I have touched on the Blue Jays a bit. I don't know. I was big on the Guardians start of the season. I kind of stayed away from them. I don't really know why. I just feel like their numbers aren't really matching up with what I like. Yeah, I don't know, and I'm still betting against Bumgarner there with the Diamondbacks, regardless of what.
No, you're not anymore. He just got sent a packet back down to the minor leagues.
Well, there you go.
Oh, that's not good.
They're gonna have to eat $34 million.
Wow, he got sent to the minors.
Yep, today.
Whew.
Wow.
on assignment. I mean, guys, he's got an ERA of like 17.
Yeah.
He's done.
Yeah.
I mean, what's crazy is he's only 33.
Yeah, no, I know he's not old. He just gives up a ton of things. What about, look at teams like the Royals. The Royals are 4-15.
Yeah, I don't touch them.
Oh, I've stayed away from them for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Trey, you and I, we just texted tonight. Phillies are starting to get on my shit list, man.
Well, that's exactly what I was just going to talk about.
Hold on, they were my team last episode, guys.
Tell you what, man.
So
They're do not touch. I can't even bet on a game with them involved.
Exactly.
Trent, so I wasn't quite there yet last week, and I know you said it last week and everything, but Tyler, before you even mentioned it, that was what I was going to get at next was teams that I am absolutely avoiding. 100% the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think that we weren't recording or podcasting last year, but at this time last year, I think we all agreed that the Phillies were the same way at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They had so much hope. And that was when with a healthy Bryce Harper and a healthy Rhys Hoskins.
Right.
And now you don't even consider that, but you just I don't know. It's just hard to ever and Trent, like you said, even games that they're just playing in, I simply avoid if it's a team I like because who knows? They could score 13 or 15 runs, or they could get one
or zero.
It's crazy. It doesn't make sense to me. And when they're playing against teams that aren't pitching well, they almost play down to them.
Yeah.
And then when they're playing against studs, they light them up, and it just doesn't. There's no rhyme or reason to the Phillies, and I'm avoiding them 100% to begin this year.
Yeah.
I've also been staying away from the Mets too. I mean,
I'll tell you,
they're in a pretty sticky situation.
Now. I'll tell you. Let's talk about a surprise team.
I see what you did there. 10-game suspension today. He
is
got
that what it
10 games.
10. Now he can appeal though.
He's appealing. He already announced he's appealing.
As he should.
That whole thing is bullshit though. And what pisses me off is the inconsistency.
Yeah.
Now I know that I guess supposedly he was told, and they let him come back, and he switched gloves or whatever it was, but like. What, they told one guy from the Yankees, go wash your hands? Like, for real? Like, that's how you're going to treat this? I don't know.
Can I point something out to you guys?
Yeah, it might be something
I believe since this rule has been in place, I want to say, I know there's at least, there's not many ejections for the sticky substances.
Right.
But at least 3 that do exist all involve that same umpire that ejected. Scherzer. So it's the same umpire. Yeah.
That's
a
nice little tidbit there.
I mean, it's like what you see on Twitter. I mean, it's the umpire show. You know, I think they're trying so hard to enjoy their time before we start going to robots or whatever the hell they're planning on doing.
Yeah.
And it's just.
I mean, let's be honest. They're just proving themselves that robots need to be more involved.
Yeah, they're trying to take away the show.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they don't.
You said 3 of the ejections were him.
Yes, same umpire.
I mean, that's kind of like the Chris Paul thing with the NBA with how many games
Scott
he lost,
Foster.
like 13 or whatever.
I mean,
till the other night.
I don't know how you're gonna prove how Scherzer's gonna win his appeal. I mean, his quote was, "I will put it on my own son's life that I did not use any illegal substance." He's claiming sweat and rosin, which has been a known thing because remember a lot of guys go to their ear to collect their sweat, and there was a couple guys that got called out on, "Hey, I think he's got something behind his ear or something like that." It's just them getting sweat. So very interesting situation, kind of annoying. I'm still. Now with the whole pitch clock thing and the whole batters, all that, I honestly don't care if they have some sort of substance.
Remember, I said that a couple weeks ago. Remember, I was like, let them use sticky stuff.
Batters can use pine tar to hold on to their bat.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well then, shit. Let these pitchers. Let them grip the ball better.
Hey, and maybe while we're at it, why don't we bring back Steroid McGuire and Sammy Sosa?
Oh, jeez, guys.
Hey, if viewership gets down too much, they will.
I know they will. I know you're exactly right. they'll say,
No, they
"Oh,
won't.
yes, they will. Oh, yes, they
They'll
will."
they'll just use the balls more.
That too.
Yeah, but I bet they
But
test
I
for
mean,
things less.
yeah, could.
Yep.
Good.
I don't know.
One team I wanted to point out that is very successful so far to start the season. That is a great team to bet on. Great pitching staff, great hitters. Is the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I can see that.
How about them? I think they're actually they are in first in the AL West, beating the Astros, the Mariners, the Angels, and then the very, 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 very sad Athletics.
Very sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of A's, I mean, Trying are you switching your team?
Texas Rangers, the Rangers.
No, but he said the sad.
No,
A's.
the Athletics.
Oh.
That's what I said.
I was going to say the big difference there in Texas might be the fact that they have a very, very good manager there too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, Bochy won a couple World Series with the Giants.
Very true.
So, and you add an ace like DeGrom, who's probably going to be on the injured list or whatnot.
Well, he's not even the one that's. I mean, he's pitching well for him, but that's not why. They're scoring so many runs. I think they have they have 112 runs scored.
Yeah, they average about 6.2 a game, second in the league.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sorry, Tyler, to cut you out. What about the Oakland, soon to be Vegas?
Yeah, no, I mean, I know, Trent, you mentioned you're a big Orioles fan, but are you going to be switching to the Las Vegas Athletics?
Not a chance in hell.
Okay. Yeah, no, some news, with the A's is that obviously they purchased some land, Las Vegas. It's not happening in Oakland. I don't know what the heck the deal is with the city of Oakland. Maybe it's just the entire state of California being terrible in certain sections. But
it's their final team. Goodbye Warriors, goodbye Raiders, now goodbye A's. They don't want their teams to stay. Good riddance to the city.
Yeah,
running into the ground.
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I mean, and you look at it. Vegas is a team right now, because there's also what sport? What I think even
the Knights.
There's some rumors that Major League Baseball is looking to expand, and I think they're also looking at, or not Major League. I'm sorry.
Wait a second.
I think it was the NBA. I think it was the NBA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're not going to go back to Seattle.
Yeah, that, and I've heard Vegas. I mean,
Nashville.
I mean, I'll be honest.
Oh, it should be Nashville.
I've seen Nashville.
That was rumor.
Let's be honest though. The team that needs to come back is the Seattle SuperSonics.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
so okay.
Can I give you guys a little something about Sin City in these past 10 years, real quick?
Sure.
Okay, so in a 10-year period, Las Vegas has now added to their sports resume. They're adding the A's. They have the Aces.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders. These are other sports teams I'm not 100% familiar with. The Desert Dogs. The Golden Knights. They've hosted the Pro Bowl, a Super Bowl, the NFL Draft, a Final Four, the Formula One Grand Prix, and the College Football National Championship.
Oh, you're missing one.
What's that?
NHL All-Star Game.
There we go. So that's in just a 10-year period.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that's
City, baby.
That's valid, dude.
It's pretty incredible.
All right, so I have a question. So, how many teams are in a division in basketball? Like 5, like 6, maybe.
I think it's 6 or 7. I can take a peek.
Or 4.
NBA divisions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
because all right, so let's create
a new. Yeah, about 5.
Okay, so that's all right. So we have Seattle, Vegas, Nashville. What 2 other cities would create another division in basketball?
Well, here's the thing: is LeBron's the one that says when he's done, he wants to own an NBA franchise in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but
so he's gonna do that.
You're not.
No, that's already accounted for. I said we have Vegas, Seattle, Nashville. What 2 other cities
you're gonna need 3 because you can't create another division of 5 because there's 3 and 3, 3 in the East,
Pittsburgh.
3 in the West. So I'm saying you're gonna need
Wow.
you're
All
gonna
right,
have to add
Trent.
a 6th to each, like the Pacific, the Southwest, to the Northwest, to Southeast, the
I
Central, and the
understand,
Atlantic.
but I'm just saying let's create another
All right,
5
well
city division.
let's just name 16, or let's name 6 cities then. So we have Nashville, Seattle, Las Vegas, and then Trent. What'd you just say?
Pittsburgh. I mean, I'm just throwing one out there. That's a major sports city. That
Yeah. What do you think the
have a
colors
team.
of the team would be if they went to Pittsburgh? Just kidding.
Yeah.
At least they're consistent. All right, so Pittsburgh, that's 4. I've heard rumors of what was the other one?
Would you go any foreign teams?
Oh gosh. If the
or like
NFL
a
actually does that, they're stupid.
Agreed.
They're so dumb. And when you talk about scat, that's so dumb. That we'll get to that later, but that is so dumb if they do that.
We're talking NBA though.
I know, but I don't know. But I'm saying like a Puerto Rico, anything in Mexico, another Canadian team. I mean, is there anything up there that would? I mean, we already have the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah.
That's valid. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe like Montreal.
phew.
I could see that.
What were some of the old like teams? You know what I mean? You could think about that stuff too.
The Houston, the Bullets.
Minnesota,
Yeah, I mean-
OKC. Phew.
That's a tough question.
I was about to say. Yeah, I mean, Texas is covered. I mean, Texas is you got Dallas,
Yeah.
you got Houston, you got San Antonio.
Probably got to jump down to Florida.
Yeah.
Well, they have Orlando
And Miami.
And Miami.
So why don't you put a team in Jacksonville?
That's a good one.
or Tampa.
Or Tampa? Yeah, I would say Tampa's probably even better than Jacksonville.
Yeah, true.
Trent, I think you had the best answer with Pittsburgh.
Well, and what about somewhere in North Carolina?
Well, that's Charlotte.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird when you don't watch a lot of NBA. There's some teams that you can kind of forget.
Yeah.
All
right.
Memphis Grizzlies. What about St. Louis?
How about the Myrtle Beach Mermen?
Yeah, St. Louis would be one.
St. Louis?
No, Myrtle
Yeah.
Beach.
Or
Myrtle Beach, South
Kansas,
Carolina.
or Kansas City? What about Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't they used to have one? It wasn't like the Monarchs or something.
I don't know.
think
I have
did.
no idea.
Couldn't tell you.
No, definitely Myrtle Beach Mermen.
All right. Well, while we're on the topic of the NBA, let's continue. A little playoff talk, quick.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
I mean, in the East right now, I think you're seeing what I'm hoping we get a Sixers Celtics series coming up in the next round, or even if it can somehow be the Eastern Conference Championship.
I was gonna say, do we know how that works, or?
Well, you got the one seed is the Bucks. So the one seed would potentially play the 4 seed, and right now it's Celtics are 2, Sixers are 3. So the winner of they both win their respective series this first round, which they're both on pace to. We will see which will be phenomenal.
You gotta look at injuries though. Like, is Giannis gonna play?
He played last night.
Okay, I know there was rumor that he was thinking about not, but
but the injury bug did hit across the board. I mean, you look at John Morant didn't play last night, yet they still won.
Yeah, I was actually big for them.
Yeah, and can we just real quick about the Grizzlies? I am so sick of Dylan Brooks. And
I agree.
And you know what is? I will just put this out there: is Dylan Brooks got called out for being this way all the way back in college. And I know I'm biased, but Coach K caught a lot of crap about telling Dylan Brooks and said, hey, just let your game speak for yourself. You don't need to do all this other stuff. After Oregon knocked out Duke of the bracket. And you know what? Coach K was right. And now that Brooks has caught out LeBron and came at LeBron, everyone's against Dylan Brooks now.
I don't think you're necessarily right. I think
K said it first.
I think you might have more people that might even come out and say, "Oh, hey, Dylan Brooks, I kind of like your attitude
totally
here," because
disagree, Ty.
I mean,
I'd say he comes across like
Ron Artest.
No, like a Draymond, like a
Pat
worse
Beverly?
Draymond Green.
Pat Beverly.
Pat Beverly, Draymond Green, those types of players.
Well, at least he's not stomping on chests.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm so over Draymond Green.
I think the worst part about it, even like the chest stomp, but I even think the worst thing was just how he was egging on the fans that way and calling them certain things. Whereas, like, if a fan nowadays stands up and does that to an NBA player that way,
they get thrown out.
They're thrown out. It's
look at what Russ did the other night for the Clippers.
Yeah,
did you see Russell Westbrook for the Clippers? Like, got in a dude's face.
Yeah.
Like, the NBA, man, it's getting it's
almost
like what do they call it? What do they call it in like acting, like the fourth wall or something? Or
I have no idea.
There's something about like engaging with the I don't know. There's some drama term.
It's just sad. I mean, it's literally a soap opera of freak athletes. I mean, essentially, because don't get me wrong, the what some of those guys can do is incredible. But I don't know. It just gets annoying. I mean, you think back to the days of like you come down the lane, you're going to end up on your back type days, and now you got let me review this. I mean, look at the play tonight with James Harden. Uses his offhand. Incidentally, might have grazed the guy's, private area.
Yeah.
But gets a flagrant 2 in the third quarter of a game 3 of a playoff series.
It's absurd.
And it wasn't blatant. It wasn't excessive.
Right.
But boom, tossed out. And it's a frustrating scene to see. But I know in the West, I really think everybody's sleeping on the 1 seed. I do. I really think with the Nuggets, with a healthy Jamal Murray and the Joker, I think so. I think they're tough. I think it's the most disrespected 1 seed I've seen in a long time. Maybe since the Bucks were like a 1 seed and were dominant. So
yeah,
that's my take on the NBA. You got to be careful. The NBA is a very, very tough sport to cap. One, because he said like the injury bug, especially late minute. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is now probably out for the rest of the series, probably the rest of the playoffs.
Really? Rest of the what?
Yep. Knee sprain announced today that
I saw he was out today.
Yep, but Paul George has been out this whole entire series already. We already said Ja Morant. Who knows? Anthony Davis. There might be a breeze that knocks him over and knocks him out for the rest of the playoffs.
Puts a little slit in his eyebrow or something.
And I hate to say this because I love the guy's play and I think he's the MVP, but like it's just like, when does Embiid get injured? Because how many times do the Sixers have a potential to win something and Embiid gets hurt in the playoffs?
All the time.
It's happened the past 2 or 3 years.
Yep, all the time.
So it's a tough sport. It's a tough sport to look, but let's go Kings. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's honestly, and that's a lot of times why I stay away from the NBA playoffs, is because it is so unpredictable. I think Trent, like you do a pretty decent job at capping like player props for things, which I feel like, I mean, you have in the past at least. And I know you haven't done as much this year, but like I don't know. I find it hard to find a team to find any consistency on. I mean, I'd almost say that the NBA is a little bit harder, even more so than say the MLB. I mean, I know that's kind of.
I agree. I do agree, but I will say this: the NBA playoffs are easier to bet than regular season NBA.
I could see that
because it's actual. It's a little bit closer to normal basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, guys are
a little bit more competitive.
Guys are diving on the floor. Yeah. Guys are defending.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have much to say about the NBA or the NBA playoffs until, like Trent said, it gets closer to the end, because it actually is true to what basketball is. There's not, in the regular season, there's so much like foul influence / referee influence / sitting players in the fourth quarter. It's
or
just,
sitting games.
Right. There's no rhyme or reason to the NBA in the regular season, and honestly, even the first round of the playoffs, who knows? I avoid the NBA as in terms of a betting aspect and even in a watching aspect, but until it gets closer to the final four, final 16 or 8 teams, and I'll keep a closer eye on it.
I will say it's not a bad thing to throw together a little 3-team teaser every now and then early.
That's a sport that I feel like you could tease.
Yeah, 5, and you can sometimes get some pretty good value for like 5 to 6 points. And I mean, granted, there's with teasers, there's always one sometimes, but it's pretty. You can do a decent job of hitting the positive areas for that. But
sometimes you get the A teasers, sometimes you get the B teasers.
Oh boy,
you know.
If the A teaser doesn't work out, the B teaser usually always does.
Dude, and if you're really feeling frisky, then you can go for the C teaser. Take that how you will.
Trey, you mentioned the officiating. In case anybody's wondering, Chris Paul is now 3-11 in playoff games that Scott Foster is officiating.
Okay.
So 3-11.
All right, so he's working his way up.
Yep.
All right, I will say this: if I were to pick an NBA Finals matchup,
yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to say it's going to be the Phoenix Suns and the Boston Celtics.
Ooh. Phoenix Suns, Boston Celtics. Okay. Tyler.
Oh God. Talking to. I will say. I'll go with the Sixers. And I'll say the Nuggets.
Sixers and Nuggets.
Yeah.
I like that.
We'll see if Doc Rivers can actually overcome some things here, because I mean, being up 3-0 right now is solid for him. Although we know that Doc at a 3-0 is not always guaranteed.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna go the Bucks. And I know this is chalk. I'm going Bucks. Bucks Nuggets.
So you're going ones?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Because I think the Sixers and Celtics are going to beat the absolute crap out of each other.
Okay.
And I think the Bucks are going to get a more favorable matchup in their next round, and therefore be a little bit more healthy.
Sure. No, that would make sense. I respect that. Well, do you guys want to jump into NHL playoffs a little bit here?
Yeah.
This is kind of more up my alley in terms of watching, following the playoffs and things of that sort. But definitely been following a lot here. I don't know. Obviously, I'm a Flyers fan, but Flyers haven't been in playoffs a whole lot. So I tend to kind of drift towards the Avalanche and the Oilers as teams that I like to watch. I love McKinnon. McKinnon's a beast for the Avalanche, and I also like Connor McDavid a lot too. But I mean, there's some other guys too that you're looking at here on both those teams. You look at that Draisaitl from the Oilers. I think Draisaitl has had almost 3 points the last 2 games, even though the Oilers have literally tried to lose twice. They did lose once, but McKinnon's a beast, and then obviously you got Rantanen too, number 96 for the Avalanche as well. It's also a lot of fun to watch, but he just creates plays. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you look at some of this, Western Conference hockey. I mean, I know we've talked about it before, just outside the podcast. It's such a different style of play. It's so fast. It's so fast. It's so high. I mean, talk about points. The Oilers had 3 guys over 100 points this season. 3 guys, which is nuts. So, I don't know. I mean, Bruins are going to be tough to beat, but we shall see.
So I'm going to take a different approach to this, and this is what I think this is what I love about hockey, is you can have these teams full of, goal scorers.
Yeah.
But the thing about playoff hockey is if your guy in net gets hot, you can make a run.
Oh yeah.
And even sometimes maybe the run is just to win an upset in a series, you know, like win a series. Like right now, I mean, I'm looking at freaking Colorado and the Kraken, right? Their second year in the NHL. They're in the playoffs, and you got Grubauer who is, you know, holding the Avalanche to 1 goal in game 1. He's currently shutting out the Avs right now. And like you said, the Avs are full of firepower.
Dude, so much power.
And so, like...
And former champions from last year.
Yeah, so it's like... I mean, look at when the Lightning make their run. It's when Vasilevsky he's at the top of his game.
Yeah. He was not tonight.
No. But it's just I think goaltending in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's what I find always fascinating. I mean, when the Kings made their run, it was the Jonathan Quick show.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. I mean, he was standing on his head, the good old hockey term, right?
Yeah.
Making saves left and right. So
that's funny too, because he's not even necessarily consistently the guy there down there in LA now.
Well, he's gone, Ty. He plays for. He got traded. Who
am I thinking of? No, I was thinking of
Jonathan Quick got traded, and then he got. I think Jonathan Quick's actually with Vegas at this point.
Might be right. I was thinking of Allmark for the Bruins.
I think it would be quite interesting if the Panthers pull off the first round upset on the Bruins, being the most winningest team in NHL history, right?
It's possible.
Yes.
I mean, the Bruins lost last night with Bergeron back.
6-3. 6-3.
Yeah.
And you know what? It wouldn't. Hockey would be the sport for that to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
The team that sets the record in the regular season literally wins the President's Cup.
Yeah.
Regular season, most points ever in a season. And then you lose first round of the playoffs. That would be a hockey.
I mean, it's storybook.
A hockey playoff thing to happen.
It's storybook when you really think about it. You know, it's like
so they're not only the President's Cup, they're also they set a record for most goals scored,
most points in history.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
In a season.
Yeah. Honestly, if I can tell you consistently, like, you know, I know they won 2 nights ago, but like their guy. You know, I know Bergeron's their team captain, but the guy that I follow a lot there, just because he's so freaking good, is Pasternak.
Pasta, baby.
Dude, I think he shot 3 times game 1, and he shot twice last night. Prior to that, the dude was 6, 7, 8. I think the one game he even had 10 shots on goal.
Wow.
I mean, he had a hat trick, you know, right before the playoffs. Like, if he's not shooting the puck, I mean, obviously there's an issue. Like, shoot the damn puck. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously, you can always find some, you know, outliers and things with consistency, but, like, shoot the damn puck. Like, if that's your thing, I mean, Florida spanked them last night. They did not see it coming.
What's the series at?
It's 1-1.
Okay.
And last night was in Boston, so, I mean, you know, Florida getting one in Boston.
Nothing drives me more nuts when watching hockey and teams don't get the puck on the net.
Yeah.
You know, you get a big juicy rebound, you know, and you know, you get things that just you get deflections and get the puck on the net and
shoot the damn
let
thing.
it work, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's not waste too much talking this, because you know we got a big guest coming up next week.
We do. Yes, we do. We have one of Hershey's and Palmyra's finest. I say Hershey because his father was a former Hershey Bear. We are going to have the Corey Lamoureux on next week. His father was Mitch Lamoureux, played in the Hershey Bears, also played in the NHL for a couple of years as well. He's going to be on to talk some hockey playoffs. We tried to get him on tonight. It just didn't work out, which, you know, life happens sometimes. But yeah, we're going to get him on next week to talk some hockey stuff. He was also a college baseball player, so maybe we can pick his brain a little bit with some MLB stuff. So.
Heck yeah, he was actually my former teammate.
There you go.
For Twilight Baseball.
There you go.
we'll have to throw it back and reminisce. But
absolutely.
No, Corey's got Corey.
and my former camp counselor when I was in 7th grade.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Look at all these.
I could bring up a good story about that maybe next week. A little controversy, you know. But I'll
yeah.
save
So Corey. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Corey's got a lot of good insight on hockey in general because I think that's his bread and butter in terms of how he was raised, how he grew up. And I think even now his home life involves a lot of hockey. So
he just took over the local team too. So he's a
right,
head coach.
Exactly,
yep.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
So it'll be cool to pick his brain, ask him some questions, see what his thoughts are on the NHL season and the postseason in general.
And spoiler alert: he is a big giant Penguins fan, so which is unfortunate, but he has nothing to say about them in the playoffs. I guess this week.
We'll see.
Hey,
but
guess what?
We can't talk.
I was gonna say
we
can't either as Flyers fans. So Pennsylvania's out. But yeah, so that'll be our special guest next week.
There's one more sport we didn't talk about, and it's the big one.
What's that?
The NFL, baby.
Ah, okay. Got a big draft coming up next week.
Oh yeah,
we do.
What do you think, guys? A lot of all-stars, a lot of busts. What are we looking at?
I think there's in my personal opinion, big goal by the Avalanche.
I know, it already happened. You're a little bit behind.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, it's 2-2.
Oh, then I'm behind. Damn.
Yeah.
I have 2-1. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. 2-2. 2-2 abs. Nice.
No, so sorry, not to get off topic, but no, I think the biggest topic coming into this draft is the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I know it's every year the quarterbacks are always a big topic, but I mean it truly is a mystery seeing how many are going to go in the first round, to what teams, who's going to go in front of who, just to see what style of quarterback certain teams are going to take too. I think that's a big thing too. I mean, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, I would say they're probably the most comparable. Would you guys agree or no?
No, I think C.J. Stroud is fading after all the all the test results just came out today, and that's kind of the explanation is why his odds at being drafted earlier are dropping dramatically right now.
I was talking more about like style of quarterback. Would you say those two are more comparable in terms of their style of play, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, or no?
I mean, they're the ones that's been talked about the most. I think what the asterisk beside what a guy like Richardson is. Was it like playing time? Like I feel like he didn't have a lot of experience in terms of
Just
stuff.
A freak athlete though.
So I mean, it's I don't know. I was listening to the McAfee show yesterday, and you know, Pac-Man Jones was on kind of speaking about like how do you treat some of these rookie quarterbacks if they come in, and he was talking about Richardson like you want to get them early because they're going to make mistakes, especially against NFL defenses, and it's not an easy thing to do. Obviously, you know, quarterbacks are kind of far and few between to be successful in the NFL. I mean, and especially when you think about early draft picks, how many are, you know, literally just busts. Yeah. I mean, few guys are able to kind of pick it up right away and just kind of run with it. I mean, I don't know, unless you guys can think of, you know, a better option. I feel like Joe Burrow is probably the latest one that was probably consistently able to pick it up and just kind of lead his team.
What about Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. I mean, you look at Trevor Lawrence's first year was horrible. Now, obviously, coaching, you know, he had something.
I was going to say,
you know, but even his playoff game, I mean, what do you say? Okay, so he throws 4 interceptions against the Chargers. Now they win. I mean, are you saying the same thing about Trevor Lawrence now? I mean, it's like, I don't know. Yes. I mean, it's.
Trevor Lawrence is going to have the Jaguars.
He's going to be good, Tyler.
At the top of that division again next year.
He's going to be good.
If they keep Peterson, because I think Peterson's a hell of a coach. And if he can.
What do you mean if they keep him?
What do you mean if they keep him? Yeah.
There's no speculation. I'm just saying as long as he remains a coach. Because consistency is key, especially for younger quarterbacks.
So you got to figure, too. I mean, who last year was his top receiver? Can we name him?
No, I know.
Zay Jones.
Zay Jones. Okay, so
Or,
Zay Jones.
or Christian Kirk.
Okay, Christian Kirk. So now.
You got Calvin Ridley.
That's where I was getting. Is
Yep.
Calvin Ridley's back.
Yep.
He is back after listening to our podcast for a good while now, getting odds and everything to make his bets.
Ooh.
He's
Ooh.
back in the league. So
shout out to Calvin Ridley. Thanks for listening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
But seriously, you're going to give him a weapon, and I think they're going to draft. I think they're going to draft another weapon.
Tight end.
I do believe they're going to draft a stud tight end. And
Kincaid,
where do
Dalton
they pick?
Kincaid, or I'd even look at the guy out of Notre Dame.
Oh no! Don't say Michael Myers.
Yeah, Michael Meyer.
Dude,
not Myers here. Halloween guy.
Dude,
Trent, it's funny you say that because that's who I'm hoping the Packers would draft.
I've seen that mocked a lot for the Packers.
Because I truly want them to draft Michael Meyer because
you guys need a lot of help there in Green Bay, Trey.
Oh, let's relax. I don't want to hear it from you. I don't want to hear it from you, Tyler.
Literally
You're the last
rebuilding.
person I want to hear it from.
Literally rebuilding.
I don't think we're literally rebuilding, actually. So
find out.
Figurative.
Yeah. Well, I think
Aaron Rodgers. You're rebuilding.
So. No, we're not.
You're not losing Rodgers.
One player. Just one player.
One player. He's a franchise quarterback and possible NFL Hall of Famer.
Okay. Well, we have a player that's been sitting behind him for 3 years. That's been learning. That's been performing.
We'll find out.
Playing scout team. So I don't want to hear it.
I can't hate on the scout thing because that was also a Brock Purdy thing too. Because they said Brock Purdy played against the best defense week in, week out.
Time out.
San Fran's defense.
Before we get, we're not talking about the Packers-Niners rivalry. We're not talking about that. What I was talking about is why I want Michael Meyer is because he is a full-on complete tight end. He can block. He can make the blocks, and then he has great hands. He can run routes. He's smart. He's just an all-around tight end. He is who would you consider the best all-around tight end? Maybe George Kittle.
No. Yeah, I mean,
Kelsey.
In terms of blocking and
maybe Kittle because Kittle does block. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Kittle and Gronk.
Gronk didn't really block, did he?
Yes, he did.
He's also not in the league anymore, Trent.
I know he's retired, but I'm saying just to compare him to somebody.
Well, Kelsey doesn't block at all.
No, I agree with that. I mean, if you're talking like blocking, catching, anything. I would definitely say Kittle because Kittle's a beast.
The thing with a good tight end is you got to look at, can you isolate him on one side alone and get open, and can you beat man coverage? Because if you can do those things in the NFL, whether you're really good at blocking or not, you got to be able to do those two types of things because you can get all your athletes on one side and then potentially get a smaller defensive back isolated with a big body tight end where you can go up and grab one,
Question for you guys.
But then you also got to have him being able to get open off of linebackers and potentially a safety that could come down. So you got to be man coverage and you got to be able to line up on the single side. So I think Trey, either of those guys that the Packers get, Kincaid or is it Meyer?
I think so.
Meyer, I think both of those guys. I am actually a huge Dalton Kincaid fan, but Meyer's obviously a stud. But I think Kincaid has a chance to jump him. But
so talking tight ends, is Kyle Pitts a bust?
No.
Yes, fantasy wise, yes.
But I mean, like maybe it's a quarterback thing.
I would give it this year. I think it takes this year to decide whether or not he's a bust.
I think not having Calvin Ridley there this year hurt them a lot, obviously, because I feel like that would have taken some pressure off of Kyle Pitts in terms of receiving stuff.
Well, Ridley was already a Jaguar. Like Ridley was traded during his suspension.
Right, but I'm saying the beginning of the year he wasn't. I'm saying if they would have had Ridley, if he wouldn't have got suspended in the beginning of the year for the whole year, I'm saying I think that would have been taking some pressure off of him. I don't know. I mean, it's
maybe
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of hype around a lot of guys right now. I mean, I was looking into something interesting too. Is I kind of revert back to Trent your comment about Hendon Hooker being possibly the best quarterback to come out of the draft.
Yeah.
So, if you really want to kind of speculate a little bit, you want to speculate a little bit? You ready for this?
Okay.
Let's speculate.
So
I'll speculate with you here on this right now.
Okay, so Lamar Jackson's an issue, right? In terms of a deal. All right.
Okay.
You know who their quarterback's coach is?
No.
T. Martin.
T. Martin.
You know where he went to school and played quarterback for?
Oh, goodness.
Tennessee.
Oh, man. Come on.
You let Lamar walk. You bring in Hendon Hooker. Let him learn behind Lamar for the year. Let Hendon Hooker take over. T. Martin's his quarterback coach. Because I'm pretty sure T. Martin was also a wide receivers coach for Tennessee. I don't know if he was there or not when Hendon Hooker was there, because I know Hendon Hooker was a transfer in. But I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I mean, I think Lamar's making a lot of mistakes with things. So I don't know how loyal they are longevity wise after this year. That's what I'm saying. So
okay. So
Hendon Hooker can throw the damn ball.
So right now the props for drafts are quarterbacks drafted in the first round, over under 4.5. Where do you guys stand?
I say over.
I'm gonna say. You said 4.5.
4.5.
I'm saying under.
Whoa.
I think the four are gonna go that are gonna go, but I feel like Hooker's gonna drop to at least 2 to the second round, and that's another reason why I'm saying about like the Ravens is maybe the Ravens take a chance on him.
Okay.
Not somebody they have to trade up for. You know, it's like maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I don't know.
I'm going to throw this out there. I'm on the over. On the over. Because all the guys that are talked about right now are going to go in the first round. Everybody fears missing out on the Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion. Everybody fears on how Mahomes dropped to 10 and 11 and 12, whatever. And teams traded up, right, to get him. Mm-hmm. And actually, I think it was the Chiefs traded with the Bills to go up and get him.
Yeah.
But I actually believe this. If we, don't you guys wish we could bet on the draft?
Dude, it's so frustrating. We can't do it.
You could get, ready? This would be my boldest pick, is you could get the defensive lineman, I believe it's Jalen Carter.
Okay.
Right? I think the Texans take, I know there's character issues because of this whole speeding thing, which I get it. It ended in a terrible tragedy, but you could get him to go second pick overall at plus 4,000 on some books.
What?
Right? Yes, you heard me right.
To the Texans.
Yes, you heard me right.
Dude, and D'Amico's there. D'Amico's there, man. He's taking the defensive lineman.
So hear me out now. And I do believe.
Can we go to Maryland this weekend?
Right. Don't the Texans also have the 12th pick overall too? So my thought is, and this would be, I guess, kind of the shock factor would be. I think C.J. Stroud drops all the way to the 12th, and C.J. Stroud will be the 4th quarterback taken overall, out of the 4th quarterback out of all.
So where do you think Will Levis goes?
It's Levis.
Levis. I think it's young. I think isn't it Levis there? You're a Penn State fan?
Yeah. He's not a Penn Stater.
He was.
Well, no. Keyword was. So
I think you would have rathered him than the guy that stayed there and they kept the starter. James Franklin can't evaluate talent, but
we don't live in the past.
Anyway, I think he goes. I think Richardson goes in the top 10. I think all three of those guys go.
I think Richardson's the last to go of those four.
I could see. I actually think Stroud is dropping. I think his. And here's the thing with quarterbacks: is you sit there and look at like all the arm stuff, all that, but then when those mental processing tests that come out, teams put a lot more weight in that than you think, and some people get frustrated about that. But just think, if only the Raiders would have sat there and looked at Jamarcus Russell's scores a little bit more deeper, maybe they would have avoided that disaster. And I'm not putting C.J. Stroud up there on that level, but I'm just saying, I think the Texans are going to surprise people and take Carter because I think he's one of the best available in the entire draft at 2 overall, and then I still think they're going to get their quarterback in round 1. They have, along with the Raiders, they have the most draft picks in this draft. They're tied with the Raiders have most draft picks.
I think the Raiders have the most at 12.
I think Texans have 12 as well.
I think they have 11.
Okay.
But you're right. You're right. They are at 12. But I mean, looking at
they're getting a quarterback then.
True, man. I mean, looking at that, you have Panthers, Texans, Cardinals, Colts, Seahawks, Lions, Raiders, Falcons, Bears, Eagles, Titans, Texans. I mean, do the Colts take a quarterback? Are the Lions going to take somebody to replace Goff? Do the Falcons take a quarterback? Are the Bears going to surprise people and actually take a quarterback?
No.
Do the Titans take a quarterback to replace Tannehill? I mean,
what pick do they have?
The Titans have 11.
Or did the Titans trade for somebody else?
I think the Titans trade back.
The Titans are completely in rebuild phase.
I think they trade back, and I think they take Hooker.
Okay, Tyler, then you say that, and you just set me up for probably a shock and all here. You're right. Titans are in a rebuild phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry is gone.
I don't disagree with you. I think you're right.
I think he's going to be a Dallas Cowboy.
Oh, God. Oh, gosh. That's horrible.
I really do.
That'd be horrible.
No, I mean, you guys don't play him.
I know, but ew, I hate Dallas, man. That's he's actually fun to watch. Oh gosh, I couldn't cheer for him then.
Be perfect there.
I mean, he's an Alabama guy, and that's what Jerry Jones loves.
That was it Arkansas? Was it Alabama or Arkansas? What he loves? I always forget that. But I do agree with you that they're in the rebuilding. So
yeah, I mean they're getting rid of everybody.
Yeah, I mean they already started by getting rid of A.J. Brown. That was terrible.
Right? Oh man, that was awful. I mean, the Eagles literally won the draft last year because of that.
Yeah.
And the freaking Eagles picked 10th.
Yeah.
10th and 30th.
So in the first round, you guys agree. Obviously, Panthers are taking a quarterback. We said Colts are definitely taking a quarterback.
You think the Colts are?
Oh my God! Who do they have?
Unless they get
there's
Lamar.
rumor the Seahawks are though too.
Yep, Seahawks. That's where I think Richardson goes.
No way.
Okay, I could see that.
What was the contract that what's his name just signed? Gino.
2 or 3 years.
It wasn't. It was a lot of money. It wasn't very long though.
No, it's nothing that would hurt him long term.
So here's my other question then. All right, is free agency wise, I know something in the news too that Rappaport reported a couple days ago is that Trey Lance is on the board, and that San Fran's actually been fielding calls for Trey Lance. Does he go to the Titans? Does he go to the Texans with DeMeco Ryans? I mean, there's some connections to the Texans and the Titans because DeMeco Ryans obviously being the new head coach of the Texans, and the offensive coordinator there also came from San Fran. Or does he go to the Titans, where I think it's the new GM was the guy that drafted Trey Lance.
Right.
But then the other one that's hot out there right now is the Minnesota Vikings are going to trade for Trey Lance. And I've seen things where San Fran could actually swap quarterbacks, meaning that you get Cousins, they get Lance, because I have a sneaky suspicion that Brock Purdy's not going to be ready for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy said he's not even sure if he'll be ready by the halfway point.
So my other question though is Brock Purdy saying that? Is he being told to say that so that now teams try to trade for Trey Lance? If they're like, oh, if Brock Purdy isn't going to be ready, let's try to go after Trey Lance now.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like it could be a business thing.
I'm not disagreeing that either of those trades could happen, but let me pose this question to both of you: would you rather Trey Lance or one of these guys in the draft?
I feel like
it depends on who I'm getting.
I feel like they're two in the same.
But okay, so Trey, who would you draft that's overtaking? Like, who would you take rather than Trey Lance?
I would take Hendon Hooker. I would take Will Levis, and I would take Bryce Young.
So you would take almost everybody.
No, I wouldn't take. I would not take Richardson, and I don't know if I'd take Stroud. Maybe Stroud, but definitely not Richardson.
Yeah, I think I'm on board with you. Other than the Richardson, like I don't think I see Richardson and Trey Lance kind of similar in the sense that they're like freak athletes, but also like what's your sample size? I mean, Trey Lance played like 6 games in college.
14.
Because of 14 against FCS.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, they were good. So it's like, I'm still a little bit like, I mean, there are some FCS quarterbacks out there that have success in the NFL.
And he also has a freak size too.
I'm looking at Carson Wentz, and now I'm looking at Trey Lance and saying,
I don't disagree with that. That's obviously going to be a big star because they both went to the same school too.
My thing would be is if the Titans are looking to rebuild, don't give up too much of your draft capital for Trey Lance. I mean, I don't know. I think it's interesting about the Vikings. I think that's interesting, but I think the Vikings are drafting somebody. But it would make sense because do remember Shanahan made a pretty hard push to try to get Kirk Cousins to San Francisco way back.
That's the biggest thing,
yeah.
That's what I mean. Again, it's all hearsay stuff, being reported with things. But like,
that's all it is for draft build-up,
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I said to Trey tonight too. I was like, dude, I said I know Dalvin Cook's kind of looking to get out of Minnesota. I said
no, he wants to stay.
Okay, all right.
But supposedly they're willing to cut him or they're willing to trade him. They've had some calls about trading him.
That's what I'm saying. What if somehow San Fran could grab Dalvin Cook?
Oh my gosh, here he is again, Trey. Every superstar in the world.
Chris McCaffrey, that'll never happen. Hello.
I didn't say that.
Everybody did.
I mean, you guys go through running backs with injuries like no other, so you need as many as you can get.
Very true.
We go through injuries, period.
It's unbelievable. But
I've had 4 starting quarterbacks.
Let's go next topic. DeAndre Hopkins, where does he end up?
I think he goes to the Ravens.
That's right now. That's the hottest team I've heard is the Ravens. Now I did hear again on McAfee's show that Von Miller's recruiting him pretty heavily to the Bills too, and they're pretty tight with things. So I guess that kind of leaves a question: is if you're D-Hop, like where do you want to play? Do you want to play with the Ravens, or do you want to play with the Bills? Who has a better shot at winning the Super Bowl?
Absolutely, the Bills.
You think so?
Absolutely. You put a deep ball streak receiver like Stephon Diggs opposite of a possession, get up and grab it ball receiver like DeAndre Hopkins. That team is out of this world. With Josh Allen's just overall talent, I think he's got to get a Super Bowl here soon. He's got too much talent around him. I think they have a great defensive line. I think they have 2 solid running backs.
His clock's ticking for sure.
Who?
Josh Allen. Like with the amount of
his clock's ticking,
meaning the amount of talent he has on his team. If they don't win it soon, like you're gonna start to lose guys, and then it's like it's gone.
Right.
So I agree. I agree with you in the sense he's got to win it soon.
I think that they win it this year. In fact, you guys know I'm 2 for 2 on Super Bowl champion predictions in the last 2 years.
Doesn't bode well for me
So,
because I know you'll never pick my team.
No, I won't. But the Bills are the team that I'm picking. So,
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Are the Bills are one of the teams in the entire NFL that don't have a Super Bowl, right?
No, I know they've been there 3 times in a row and lost all 3 times.
Not 3, 4.
4.
Yeah,
oh,
4 times in a row.
4.
I think it was all to Dallas too, right?
It's awful.
I'm pretty positive because I remember crying as a child when San Fran would lose to Dallas.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Yeah, I see Hopkins wherever he goes. He's trying to win a championship.
Yeah,
like that's it. Like so,
exactly.
I'm not even counting out the Chiefs.
Whew.
God, man.
And I'll be honest with you. I'm going to tell you another team I'm not even going to count out. The Eagles. That GM, what is it?
How do you?
He knows
but
he knows how to get it done.
I don't think
where do
the
you spread the ball
Eagles.
to though? Then you got AJ Brown. You got the heck is his name? I can't think of his name. Guy from Alabama.
Devontae Smith.
Like, where are you gonna? No, there's no way.
Can I say something?
Unless you make Devontae Smith.
I don't think the Eagles do what they did last year.
I agree with that, Trey.
Yeah, I
will say this
that too, with losing their coordinators and defenses get a whole year of watching the Jalen Hurts deal.
Exactly.
I like Jalen Hurts, man. I'm not an Eagles guy, but I like Jalen Hurts.
You know who they drafted 10?
Yeah, that running back out of Texas.
Yep, Bijan Robinson.
Ooh, early to draft a running back. Early.
Dude, he's the only one that's gonna. He's actually, I've seen that he may be one of the few running backs to actually be drafted.
Yeah, receivers and running backs. Well, early. I should say first round receivers and running backs.
I've seen a lot of big guys being drafted. D linemen.
That's how it's what wins championships, guys.
Yep.
What about Joey Porter Jr.?
I think he
what Steelers, right?
Mid first.
Yeah, I've seen Steelers, Trey.
I think he's the second. I think he's like projected the second cornerback off the board.
Okay.
Which I think that's actually perfect. Where Steelers pick 17.
Yeah.
I can't, dude. How about them getting Allen Robinson? How about them getting Allen Robinson?
He's not making it to the Steelers. He goes before. Before that. Oh yeah.
To who?
Yeah, I think he goes. I'm just saying he goes before 17. I think
he goes to the Raiders.
No, I would take him.
Where the Redskins draft that?
Right before him.
Yeah,
right before who?
Mm-hmm. Right before the Steelers.
I think that's right. I think that's very good.
That's
Packers
a sleeper team. That's a sleeper team right there to take.
Packers will need them.
At least Trey called them the Redskins.
Yeah.
Oops,
Commanders. They're the Commanders, right?
No, we just call them Washington, just like we do Cleveland. Bull crap, PC crap.
Washington is a sleeper team to take Hendon Hooker.
No.
I thought they have a young guy though.
Yeah, Sam Howell
from Carolina.
He was like undrafted, I believe, or like.
No, he was drafted
late.
No, I think he was like a third or fourth rounder, Trent. Sam Howell?
Yep. All right.
Dude,
Here's a line. Over under 1.5 tight ends taken in the draft.
In the draft total?
In the first round. Sorry.
First round.
Over.
There's
3 going to be taken.
I'll say over.
Ooh.
I'll say over.
So you think obviously
it's going to be
Kincaid,
Georgia, Utah, and Notre Dame's tight ends are all going to be taken.
So Barnett, the big guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I bring up another quarterback though that I know is like, oh yeah, okay. Where's Stetson get drafted?
He doesn't.
What? You're crazy.
He's a free agent, undrafted free agent.
Say the Packers.
Where do you think he goes?
Dude's won 2 national championships in a row. Like, how do you?
He reminds me of Brock Purdy style play.
That's who people compare him to.
So I'm gonna say Dolphins or Niners draft him.
I'd say Dolphins.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want him, Ty?
No, because I'll tell you who Sam Fran will draft. That's a quarterback. Spencer Rattler.
He's not in the draft yet.
For sure?
Yeah, he's back in South Carolina.
Hold on. I feel like he's been in college football for like 9 years.
Yes, and
COVID year,
everybody.
So he still has another year eligibility.
COVID year, and what he did 2 years at Oklahoma, transferred, played 1 year at South Carolina. So this is technically his senior year. So he actually probably has this year and 1 more year to play.
Jeez.
But he'll leave after this year.
That was, I mean, I know initially I didn't realize that. I thought he was like 27.
Dude, I mean, look who, and this is a totally different sport, but like, look at Ryan Cormack from Notre Dame in basketball. He just transferred to Carolina today. Like,
thank you.
That dude's been there forever. Yeah, be excited about that.
I'll take what we can get, dude.
Yeah, you can. I'm actually. Yeah, that's another sport, another time. We're on football, but yeah, these COVID years, man, it makes it feel like some of these guys are playing. I mean, look at Hooker. Hooker's 24, 25 years old.
25, yeah.
And so that's pretty nuts. I mean, Stetson Bennett, 24, 25 years old.
It's not a bad thing, though. I mean, maturity-wise.
No, and now that these guys can get paid at the college level, too, it's good for them because, I mean, it keeps these guys in college. It hurts the guys coming up through, but it's kind of interesting to see.
You hope that in maybe a year or two now, or maybe, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, that when the COVID thing finally phases out, it's like maybe it kind of evens out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
It'll be interesting. I mean, whew. Yeah, I don't know, man. But anything else, guys?
No,
not that I can think of. I know I'm excited for next week. That's all I know.
For the true Canadian, Corey Lamoureux.
That's right, Mr. Hockey himself.
Mr. Hockey, that's right.
Our first guest on the podcast, guys.
It is a milestone. It's good that we have enough interest and enough people that want to contribute. We have guests available, so I mean it's pretty exciting. I know I'm excited. I'm not a big hockey guy, but just hearing what Corey has to say is going to be pretty interesting.
Yep, insightful for sure.
Dude, I'll be honest too, and just via the text message, dude, he's excited. He goes, you have no idea how excited I am, and he's said he is definitely going to be putting podcaster into his Twitter bio after Thursday.
Oh, so. fair enough.
But yeah, I know. I talking to Corey too. He even said he's like, hey, I got my research done. I'll be looking up some more things and stuff. So he'll definitely be prepared. So definitely keep an eye out for that episode next week. That'll be recorded next Wednesday night. We'll release it late Wednesday. Obviously, most of you we'll tweet it out officially on Thursday when everybody's probably awake. So, but thanks for listening tonight. Appreciate it. Trent, Trey, good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Nice talking to you, as always.
Let's have a money-making weekend, guys.
Dude,
let's do it.
Hey, one other thing real quick. Last thing, sorry. Let's just take a little peek here. I know McKinnon was at 3 shots here in a second. He is currently at 5, so we are 2-1 today, boys.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Positive day, fellas.
Gary Baker bets.
It's always a positive when we cast. I'll tell you what.
That's right.
All right, hey, have a good night, guys.
Yeah, take it easy, fellas.
See ya.
See ya.